But you just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up.
Welcome to Tales from the Field. My name is Bradley Ball, and we are back and better than ever. It is so good to have you with us. On Tuesday, we had our Elfter show, our Christmas in February. It was absolutely amazing. We had our good friends, Lonnie Bauer, Global Domain Lead, Andrew Nathan, Principal Engineering Manager, Azure Core, and Daniel Taylor, Senior Engineer, all from the Azure Fast Track Product Group joining us. Who won? Who was Santa? Who got what? I don't know. Well, we know. We were there. But if you want to find out, you're going to have to head over to our YouTube channel and make sure that you actually watch those episodes. If this is your first time finding us, please head over there and give us a like to this episode. Give us a subscribe and make sure and join us. If you want to interact with the show, there are so many ways to be able to do it. We are streaming right now on Twitter, on Tales from the Field, Josh Ludeman, Neeraj Jafari, Sequel Balls. We are streaming over at LinkedIn for Sequel Balls. We are, of course, on the Tales from the Field channel on YouTube. And if you want to interact with us, just make a comment and one of my amazing co-hosts will see that comment. They will add it and you will be a part of the show. Before we go any further, let me introduce those amazing co-hosts. I am joined by the amazing Andreas Padilla, the super pepperonied Josh Ludeman, and that's not a shooting star on your screen. You're just dazzled by his amazing good looks. It's your friend and mine, the one and only Neeraj Jafari. Andreas, we dropped an MS Tech Bits on Wednesday. It was you and Neeraj talking about analytics in a box for Azure Synapse Analytics environments, pattern 1, where they can deploy, where people can go to our GitHub repository. They can deploy this using Bicep. Already we've got a ton of views on it. Wow, just great stuff. How you feeling? We had Christmas in February. Ooh.
February, Christmas come early or late. Again, I love it. I'm so happy to see that none of the gifts were re-gifts, that everybody's liking their gifts. But if you do have a re-gift, or maybe we should talk offline. Neeraj do the work for the analytics box pattern, analytics and a box pattern 1. Kudos, man. I can't say enough. Like, that is accelerating a ton of customers out there. Jump into that GitHub, get your workloads into Synapse quick and easy. It's Thursday. The Honda Classic started today. Weekend's coming up. I'm looking forward to it.
Very nice. Very nice.
Honda Classic?
The last year they're doing it as well.
Yeah.
Man, I didn't know.
There was a news story. I saw this one morning, I think, as I was getting my coffee, and it was how every single year they float a Honda out on the lake. And it was the guy who does it and the process by which they do it. And it's like some good old boy who like literally goes out there in his bare feet, swims around. He's like, oh, there's always a gator out there. And basically it's a raft and they load the car onto it and he works to be able to get it offshore. It's absolutely amazing. Yeah. But apparently this is the last one. He is retiring and also they're retiring the event. So last Honda Classic.
I speaking of water and alligators, that's my favorite question as someone who lives in Florida. It's like, oh, are there gators in there? And
yes.
My response, of course, goes, is there water? Is it fresh? Yes.
Yeah. Look, I mean, that's a gator. We also have crocodiles, which can drink seawater.
We have crocodiles here?
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude.
Oh, I thought we were only gators. Okay.
I thought we were the gators.
Oh no, buddy.
You're gonna have to fact check that.
Oh,
buddy.
Please. So, and the way I know this is that there is a really big one that lives in a cove over on the Space Coast. And when I would go over there and do the Ron John Classic, there's a big gator that's in that area, and they would always warn you. But the lifeguards who are out there would basically make sure that the gator wasn't near anyone either. But typically, they stay away from all the splashing from that. But that was a warning we got every single year.
That is correct. They are making a comeback. Crocodiles are making a comeback in Florida.
However, they're traditionally found in Everglades National Park.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice fun fact.
There's our buddy Dan Taylor. Alligators make the best friends. Yes, South Florida has. I don't know. all those teeth, but no toothbrush, Dan. They're awfully ornery. I don't know if you know about that.
Now,
And
I'm gonna say,
Dan is
yeah, that was the next one. I saw his other comment about this, and I'm like, yeah, Dan, I know what you're saying right now about wearing those unicorn ears, because man, you look good in them, buddy.
Oh, he did. He looked fantastic. Let's call back to the Tuesday show. If you didn't see it, you need to go check it out. What a good sport too, from start to finish. He was in those air. And Dan also said Southfoot. I don't know about Bigfoot, Dan. I don't know about. I'm not willing to go that far.
I love
But
Bigfoot.
hey,
Harry.
well, I mean, I've got big feet, but I
I
don't
was
know
gonna
about
say,
Bigfoot.
I don't know about Bigfoot, but I did see this guy down there one time, and wow, he was hairy. Never mind. That's a different beach story we don't need to get into.
I was going to
That's
say we
just-
may have been at the same beach. I thought it was weird that he wore a sweater there.
Right?
So we're here for the roundtable. First up is my good buddy Neeraj Dafari. And Neeraj, you have Kevin Chant with a complete CI/CD experience for Azure Synapse Link for SQL Server.
So yeah, I mean, I had a customer looking for some help on CI/CD for Synapse links for SQL Server, and I was like looking for some good articles how to do it. And this was a great article that I found out by Kevin. He goes step by step. I mean, he really shows you how to do one thing at a time, and then he helps you up. Even he has a good Git repository that he has made it available, and definitely something that would help you walk you through how to set up the CI/CD pipelines for and the YAML files for doing the SQL 2022 from the Synapse links.
I got to tell you, I understand people's love of YAML, and man, what a great blog from Kevin. I hate YAML, absolutely hate YAML.
Same here.
And I was going to say, there's a couple different places in Azure DevOps where you can create pipelines, especially for build pipelines. You can't do this for deployment pipelines, but for build pipelines, you can make a build pipeline, and then there's an option where you can click on it, almost like the GUI in SQL Server. And instead of export to T-SQL, it's export to YAML. And so you can get yourself your build YAML pipeline very easily using the WYSIWYG. But that's okay. I think I'm just an old man yelling, "Get off my lawn!" But I understand. I mean, it's a thing. Customers are just using YAML like crazy.
Well, and so when I get into these conversations about how much YAML is annoying, it could be worse. You could be using XML.
I'll give you that.
It's like the grass can be greener. It's not always greener, but it could be worse. You could be using XML.
For Kubernetes and for certain deployments that we need to do for DevOps, I totally understand, totally get YAML. For things where you have a perfectly good WYSIWYG, I just, that's the old work harder, not smarter mentality to use YAML instead of the WYSIWYG.
So yeah, I get the whole YAML in DevOps pipelines more than a WYSIWYG, because you can automate creation. When it's in a language like that, you can write code to build the code. Whereas the WYSIWYG piece, you can't necessarily do that. So, Brad, this is one of the many times, like fruit on pizza, you and I are going to go different directions on that.
That's okay. When I build my pipeline,
it's terrible. Fruit on pizza is terrible. So I'm right, you're wrong again.
How
like fruit on
Josh?
pizza, like
I'm pretty sure there's a button for this, right? Yeah. Thank God for technology. You can just shut them up right away, because pizza is wonderful with pineapple. It's so much better. And speaking of things that are better than Josh, I'm up next, and I've got SQL transaction processing and analytic performance price performance testing. Now this is done by GigOhm, and it's an article by William McKnight and Jake Dozell. And one of the things I love is they set up, and this is a step-by-step benchmark test to be able to show you the contents, what they're doing, how they're running this. And basically this breaks down to the performance equivalents that they have. Again, very, very detailed. And I absolutely love this, but they go into the database on AWS, on Azure, the edition, what they're running, what the build is, the number of vCPUs, the number of...
You just froze.
Yeah, Bradley just froze. We might have to go on without him.
RAM, the storage configuration.
Oh, he's back. Okay, good.
He's back.
Nope. False alarm.
Yeah.
Maybe this is what happens when you eat
Oh.
pineapples.
Yeah, that's what happens when you put pineapples on pizza. Your
Yeah, it
screen
does.
freezes and it all goes terrible
Yeah.
from there. So that's okay, because what we're gonna do is we're gonna call an audible. And screen moved, but he's still frozen.
Maybe you can take control. My good.
Yeah, I'm working on that right now. I'm trying to bring up your next blog, actually, Andres, so that we can talk through that.
Yeah, let's do this.
I just need to resize because I'm on my big monitor, and we don't need all that going on right now. So let me go ahead and here a specific edge tab.
By the way, Lon is saying she likes pizza.
Yeah, bye, Brad.
But she likes fruit on pizza, and everybody's allowed to have that, that time to be wrong. And that's okay, but we still love Lonnie.
Fail fast, right, Josh?
Yeah,
Fail
exactly.
Okay.
She'll come around and realize that fruit on pizza is not the way to go. So, anyways, Andres, we're going to keep going here and move on. You have this great one: streamline your edge AI development and operations with Khan. I don't want to say Khan because then too many Star Trek fans are going to go.
Yeah, maybe they start chiming in, but that's all right. This is a great video by from the IoT show by Olivier Bloch, Payman Naruzzi, and Vladimir Postel. Thank you so much for putting out there. As you know, out there in the audience, I've been doing a lot of Edge ML, Edge AI.
If you are in the business,
and it can get complicated because you have to deal with not only creating the model, packaging it up, optimizing it. Then you have to bring in video streams. You have to containerize it. Then you have to deploy it to devices. Make sure they land. You have to monitor the whole thing. This GitHub repo is now a great accelerator for you to be able to not only it's Kubernetes based, but what it helps you do is bring in through drag and drop, bring in your video feeds, bring in your model, and it's all also ML ops based, so it can help you retrain and your model and the whole deployment and deploy it to your specific devices. And you can bring in multiple devices. And you can also bring in, maybe you don't have a device, you can say, you know what, I want to deploy it on a VM. And so it's a great accelerator that's now connecting all those different bits of pieces, all the interconnections between IoT Hub, IoT Edge, containerization, all that. What else is it doing? The cognitive services, if you want to bring that in, Azure storage, the ML side of it, it's all connecting so you can just concentrate on your model. So as an accelerator, as a headache reducer when it comes to Edge ML, this repo is a golden child. Thank you so much to Olivier and the rest of you who posted this, and Payman and Vladimir. Kudos.
No problem, gentlemen. And I'm figuring this out as we go, lovely fun that it is. I'm actually next up. So the one I'm going to share is actually this blog here by Tracy Baggiano. So the reason this one comes up in my feed is, for me, one of the things I was working on this week was actually a script to improve my, my device preparation, machine prep. So that when I'm doing things like building a VM to test a script or, using a new jump box in, maybe my Azure environment and things like that, I wanted a script to be able to do, like a get command to pull down onto my jump box and install what I need, install VS Code, maybe install, if it's a VM where I'm going to record a video on what I'm working on, install Camtasia, install the Azure CLI, things like that. And I was looking for ideas of what don't what am I not already installing? What else do I need to include? And oh my gosh, I found this from Tracy, and I said, oh wow, there's a lot of things I'm forgetting about, right? Because originally I was using, Chocolatey and things like that, but she goes through here installing Chocolatey, which if you're not familiar with that, I encourage you to read the blog post. She talks about that. Also different PowerShell modules, which I hadn't even thought of yet either in my script. So I'm actually using this to help make what I'm building for me that much better. So great post from Tracy here. And as, of course, we get here back to Mr. Ball, thank you for returning. We were able to hopefully recover. I hope you're doing okay over there. And that the sky is not falling.
Yeah, pigs aren't flying.
Guys, I have no idea what happened. My browsers froze, and I had to hard boot down and hard boot back up. So hopefully this gets us through the show. I may be trying a different browser after this.
Do they have you on Windows 95 over there, Brad?
Do you need another minute to
Windows 11? But you would think it's ME.
Yeah.
No, I was gonna say, do you need another minute, or do you want to take it over from here? Because I have Neeraj's next one.
No, you go ahead and keep going. I'm still doing damage control over here.
I think we need to have a new discussion about pizzas on pineapples, like pizza versus ninja. Same thing.
No, let's not, because fruit does not belong on pizza, and I think we've established that. I think it's a good, solid, unanimous vote here.
It's a trigger
as long as Brad's machine freezes up again.
Triggers me.
Absolutely. Pineapple belongs on pizza. I heard you loud and clear.
No. See, that's his technical difficulties.
Once again, Lonnie brings such amazing content to. I appreciate that so much. So let's see. Sorry, I'm still in the process of getting everything recovered. What is our next?
No, not a problem. Next one up is Neeraj with securing your Synapse environment. Go ahead, Neeraj.
So this is from one of our colleague in India, Lilium. She's great on Synapse. So I was just bringing her up. I was looking at a few of the things which my customer asked me up, how to secure the environments, right? I mean, how to secure the Synapse pools, how to dedicated SQLs, serverless SQL, Spark pools, all of them. So she has written a great article about how to do it with least privileges and every environment, right? She also broke it down between test, development, productions, all of them through AAD groups, MFA if you have it, SQL injection. So various ways she has tried to secure the whole environment. In particular, the things that I like at the bottom where she goes over giving permissions, because people do forget Synapse Workspace require different permissions. It's not the same thing. So she has given a way breakdown of each and everything, right? How to create a table, make sure that it has security on top of it, row levels, column levels, table level, whatever security you're looking for. So that's a great article she's written down in there.
This is great. Yeah, because she even goes into SQL injection and things too, along with workspace encryption and all that.
And anyone she's mentioning about data masking and all that stuff, right? I mean, this is key right now. A lot of people are asking for that. So I had shared it out with a couple of people on that, and they loved this article. So really nice, Lilium, the way you brought it up, the whole article.
Yeah, row level security. This is when you look up deep dive in the dictionary, I'm pretty sure a link to this blog post would be in there as an example. Wow, this is great. Great find, Neeraj. Mr. Ball, you are up next. Are you okay to go next, or?
Yeah, go. I'm going to let you pull it up, but we'll just stick with you.
No, that's fine. That's okay. What we're doing is, since I'm pulling this out, as we go, I'm clicking on these links and trying to keep up, as we get going. So I take usually a second of little camaraderie before we go in, but you're coming in with Synapse Espresso optimized Delta table performance with optimized and Z-order indexing from Mr. Winans in Europe.
Yeah, this is a great video by Stan Wynotts, who is on the Azure Fast Track team, and he is absolutely fantastic. He has a great show, SQL Expresso, that is actually deployed on the Azure Synapse Analytics YouTube channel. And in this episode, he goes over optimizing Delta table performance with optimize and z-index ordering. So if you are utilizing Spark and you're utilizing it in your Synapse environment, you're using Delta Lake and you're looking for ways to be able to optimize that, Stan does a great job of delivering a quick and succinct video showing how you can utilize optimize and z ordering. So absolutely fantastic stuff. If you aren't familiar with Stan, you definitely want to make sure and follow his channel. He's got a lot of really, really great things. And he's going to be at SQL Bits, where I'm going to be. As a matter of fact, the first time I met Stan, it was last year at SQL Bits. And it was absolutely fantastic.
And even like SQL Espresso is a good thing to follow. I mean, really nice videos, every short and sweet videos that he creates. Really nice ones to look at.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was actually going to point that out as well. This video is only 7 minutes. I mean, 7 minutes of your life to get a good deep dive into optimizing performance on Delta tables is a great, quick hit of a video.
Absolutely. Yeah, I was going to say, you can't beat it. It's quick. It's wonderfully done. I mean, and Stan's just cute as button, right? I mean, it doesn't hurt to, be able to hear
really everything comes down to
yeah.
how you look. I mean, I think Stan brings a lot to the table as far as as far as
Josh,
technical prowess and things, but you're all like, and he's cute.
Well, but Josh, you're cute as a button as well. It's just your opinion is so grating.
Well, no, it's just so accurate because fruit does not belong on pizza.
I don't know what you're talking about. You're wrong. That's okay. It's all gibberish, but enjoy the captain's chair while you can.
All right. So we'll continue on. And Andres, you're up next with train your model in Azure ML, score it in Azure Data Explorer.
Oh, this one surfaced up to me this last week. I have a customer in oil and gas, and they're doing all this streaming data and loading it into ADX, and they wanted to get some get rolling with how to tap into creating a model that can read into their time series data in ADX. And Adi Alder, he posted a great article. I know it's back in 2020, but the concepts apply. ADX supports running Python code through the Python plugin, so you can you can develop your model in machine learning, grab that model, you package it up, grab the pickle file, and then through the plugin, you deploy it, and you then score, or pretty much you're going to score and run inference off of your ADX real-time data. So he shows you how to get started with how to use the plugin, how to grab your pickle file, and then pass data into the pickle file and score the data. Beautifully done. Nice. So, point of the story here is ML Studio, Azure ML, and ADX. They live nicely together and can live nicely together.
Oh, sorry.
No, this is a great article, Andres. Great article, and and really using a service as far as Azure is concerned is very much underused. I think a lot of customers don't know a lot about the service. They don't use it as much as what it could be used. So I love this article for that.
And it's one of Brad's favorites.
I know Azure Data Explorer. Oh my goodness! The second that you had me at hello, buddy, you had me at.
Thank you.
You had me at hello. Really, we're gonna go there.
Exactly. I'm a big fan of rom comedy. And look, ADX. It's a sleeper story. Not as many people are using it, but I feel like if people understood this service and the raw power that you can get from it, the capability to do streaming workloads, to do analytical processing, to be able to score models. It's just endless what the service can do. It's absolutely amazing stuff.
No, that's great.
Yeah,
I agree. It's a good one.
All right. So Josh, I've got you up next, and I've got a new browser installed. So hopefully this one works better. We'll see how that works out for me. But you
Well,
have
that's okay. I've been working during the banter about, and the reason I keep stringing out the fruit on pizza being as wrong as it is I've actually been loading the links as well. So that's okay. We now have high availability. So
well, there we go. We got backup and restore going. And Lonnie, once again, hey Josh, the use of fruit on pizza isn't new. Tomatoes are classified as a fruit and are the basis of all pizza sauce. So slam dunk, you're wrong. But now you need to talk about technical stuff. We're talking about Kevin Chant, SQL Action V2 GitHub Actions for Azure SQL database deployments. Did you like that?
So
segue?
tomatoes being a fruit is new, so that's what makes that wrong. But anyways, SQL Actions on GitHub and using SQL database deployments in GitHub Actions, it's a great post. I've actually referred to this one when building GitHub action pipelines to build demos for me, and it walks through how to use the actual the GitHub action, walking through using it, how, the reasoning behind using it in your development environment, using it in your production environment, but actually walks through the YAML. Yes, I said YAML of using this deployment, in your GitHub Actions to create an automated deployment pipeline.
We had the debate
Yeah,
about YAML earlier, but again, my argument against YAML was if you have a WYSIWYG system that can do what you need to without having to code YAML and it gives you what you want, why use YAML? But in this particular case for GitHub Actions, this is a scenario where you're going to want to use YAML. If this is the method that you're using for your DevOps and your deployments, this is your choice. This is what you're doing, and I love it that Kevin has this laid out so succinctly.
Yeah, and the nice thing is when you're building demos for conferences like we do, or even tooling and examples for folks to use out in the field, dare I say, using GitHub Actions to, where you can actually put in there and just deploy, right? So then it'll just deploy the entire solution out there so that you can get past I need to deploy this and then this and then this. It makes the solution just works, and I think when you look at successful technology out there, making it so that it just works is what helps it take off. And using GitHub Actions in this way, that's why I love them. It just works.
Absolutely. Good stuff.
Beautiful.
So, Neeraj, I have you up next, and you have.
So the reason I brought this up, a good article by Chris, Bicep. So the MS text bit that we deployed sent out yesterday was all dependent on Biceps. And when we were presenting it out to a couple of our teammates, people were a little bit not sure how Bicep work, and that's where they wanted to get more highlights to it. I mean, Andreas did a great job on how to deploy things on Bicep on that pattern one. And this is something, what is Bicep? I wanted to see how Bicep, you can use it as a template using Azure CLI. And this shows you breakdown of how things are done. But Chris did a great job on doing it, explaining how Bicep can work on it. That was the whole idea behind this whole article.
Well, and I love the article. Sorry, go ahead, Josh.
No. I was just gonna say that how Danny Rojas on what's that show? The Apple.
Yeah, Ted Lasso. Yeah,
Ted Lasso. He says that football is life. Well, Bicep is life. Bicep is life.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Well, and here's one of the things, right? Look at all this great content that Chris has over here. Looking at Terraform versus Bicep. Azure Bicep, how to be able to do all these different things, looking at Terraform as code, because we have customers that have multiple different deployment scenarios that are using different scripts and different methodologies of doing these things. And this just looks like, I love it when I find not only a great article on something, but then I look over and I see links for even better content that I'm like, oh my goodness, yeah, I'm gonna read more. It's just a great resource. Really, really nice, Neeraj. I like that.
This article will keep me up. You'll bring it up on your phone at 10 o'clock, and you'll just start going down Pandora link after link and reading it, and then before you know it, it's 12:30. So
I know.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's that good old fashioned rabbit hole.
Yep.
So I'm up next, and I have a piece by Daniel Cabremont, And he has a blog on JSON object and JSON array functions from Azure SQL 2022. As we know, we have talked about the utilization of JSON notation. There's a lot of customers that are out there using JSON to be able to store their data or to be able to transmit for applications. And so one of the things that he does is he walks through, he's using sample code from AdventureWorks database, but he walks through very simple things like, here's what the JSON syntax is going to look like. Here's how this is going to work. And then he's going to talk about how we can take objects and attributes, how we can put them together. And then he's going to also walk down and show how we can do select, and we can put output into specific arrays that we can pass to and from applications. And this is very important because if your application is using JSON to be able to parse that text, you can stream that in and out of SQL Server without having to take a tabular SQL row, then convert that to JSON within your application to then be able to display this in the format that you need, or to record it or process it. Or using some of the new API tricks that we've talked about when Davide Murray was on for Live 360, you could potentially have the capability to stream data out as a JSON value set because of the new API functionality that we have in Azure SQL Database.
Interesting.
Absolutely.
No, that is great. JSON is up there for me with YAML. I know it drives you nuts, Brad, but JSON, I love it. XML, go away. JSON and YAML forever.
Oh, and I just blipped again. Can you guys hear me? You got me?
Yeah, you just blipped again. I was just worried about you, but you're back now. You good?
Yeah, so I've got StreamYard on a different browser, on the browser that froze, and I'm running all the different things on the other browser right now. So hopefully I don't blip again, and we can make it safe.
No, I was going to say the other browser, I could see your mouse moving around in it in the green room, but you were frozen, so I was a little worried.
Okay. Well, next up, I have Andreas. And Andreas, you have this mind map that was put together by a couple colleagues of ours, Marcelo Silva and Victor Santana.
Oh, man, these guys did a great job. This was a collaboration all around from a number of colleagues over in the FTA group. Thank you for putting this out there. And you have at your fingertips the top performance tips and tricks that you can apply to all the data services that are out there. For Azure Data Lake, what can you do? For Synapse, for ADX, Cosmos DB, great little side, Swiss Army knife that you can have in your pocket. There's another one for performance optimization tips and tricks for app data services. Thank you, Victor Santana and Andre Duez and Alex Morales for putting that one together. And Marcelo, man, your knowledge and Marco, your knowledge for Synapse, for Databricks and Cosmos DB and making go fast, beautifully done. I believe there's another one that this group is putting out in next couple of months for resiliency. So stay tuned. But yeah, this is bookmark this. If you don't want to, start, sifting through a ton of documents, use this as a quick win.
Absolutely. And you can see that just the breadth of services that are covered in here, and you can expand, you can zoom on any one of them, but you've got everything from SQL to Event Hub. And then we have links with these different recommendations. So that way you can open this up and then you're here at a Microsoft Learn document. So you can easily go through. So just a fantastic kind of stop short resource that allows you to very quickly find these links as they're relating to the particular subjects you're looking for.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Great stuff. All right. Josh, if it's okay, I'll hop in after you because I'm going to go back to the link that I froze on.
That's what I was waiting for. I was waiting for you to jump in with that.
But I'm gonna go with you first, so that way we can at least make sure this is in sequential order. Okay. Using dedicated administrative connection with SQL Server and a Docker container by Joey DeAntoni.
Yeah, and so this was a great post I found when digging around, because again, I'm running my dev environment locally, at least for SQL Server on containers. And so being able to get that dedicated connection when you're looking to, break, we'll say, SQL Server and things like that. So I was curious about how that experience was different in this case. And so, yeah, I wanted to went through this post with Joey goes through and actually basically just talks about simply making sure to expose the 1434 port, which is what you need for DAC, and how to connect to it and things like that. So again, just simple post, but bringing up a great resource a lot of people don't necessarily think about, especially when you're like me running your quick little dev environments and demos where you want to break SQL Server. Well, how do I get to DAC after that? So just a simple post from a great resource like Joey.
Absolutely. And so I'll take the last but not least. So what I was talking about beforehand, before my computer decided to give up life itself on me, was basically this super detailed article where they go through and they create very similar systems on Azure and also on AWS. And as you can see, the transactions per second were able to outperform systems on that similar makeup. And then looking at the TCP-H and TCP-E, best out of 3 runs. And then additionally on this, they went into the price comparison and they went into the algorithm they used, looking at compute on demand, SQL Server hourly rate times 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, times 3 years. And they did data disk monthly costs plus the number of disks times 12 months times 3 years log disk. So they've got everything out there in very clear, plain text so you can see. So when we talk about outperforming AWS, when we talk about having a better price per data point, this is the source that they're getting to, where you can see here's our costs, and our cost is fundamentally lower. And this is for the TPC-E workload. And then they do pay as you go on demand with license mobility, without license mobility. And then the 3-year hybrid benefit commit, and AWS has a similar 3-year commit, and so does Azure. And I just thought it was absolutely fantastic, because often when you look at these things, you'll hear us make a statement and you'll be looking for the numbers to be able to back this up, because you might have to go in the room, especially if you're a DBA, and say, hey, boss, this is where I've got it. This is my source. This is where the data is coming from. And so just an absolutely fantastic job that was done over at GigOhm.
Nice. And
you
Brad,
know what
I
I'd
think
love to see too, content wise, and we'll have to look. I'm going to take it as a mission to look for it for our next roundtable. Is a good article that breaks down the differences between the different TPCs, because I hear the E and the H and stuff like that, and that's great. And I know they do specific, targeted, aggressive, performance measurement and benchmarking. But I have no idea what the difference is, and which TPC would I look for the kind of workloads I do and things like that. So
well, and also one of the very interesting things is sometimes the metrics are different in what they are measuring and what the output is. So for example, right. TCP-H could be looking at transactions per minute as an overall wrapper, but we could monitor that, and we could get from perfmon, what the actual transactions per second were, and break that down. But in some tools like HammerDB, they're measuring in transactions per minute. Then you go to TCP H, and TCP-H is monitoring at something completely different than TCP-E. So they have different relative workloads based off of more modern workloads, based off analytics workloads. You're right. That would be a good article to find. Might actually be a good video to be able to break that down as well.
Yeah. Maybe you and I can work on that together. We'll talk about that after the show.
And as Dan says, DAC. I'm sorry, I was about to say, did he Trading Associates? the dedicated administrator connection. I was like, geez, Dan, when we were working on that in 2008, Denny's company wasn't up yet. Anyway, so many acronyms, right?
See, Denny messed it up. It's a DAC connection, and Denny decided to go with DCAC. I mean, he was asking for this, I think. I think this was intentional.
As a dyslexic, it all means the same thing.
If you need to use DAC, call DCAC.
That's right. Probably should, right? And it was on Joey's blog. So the DAC has been a savior for Brad and I in the past. SQL Server 2008 R2, we used to use it weekly for a breaking server, and he's not wrong. That was a lifesaver to understand how to be able to do that. I think we have hit officially the end of the show, and I will be testing out this new browser on StreamYard, and hopefully the next time that we meet, we will not have the technical difficulties that we've had over the last 2 weeks. Please, StreamYard, fix your stuff.
I don't know. I mean, I think maybe people preferred me hosting. I don't know. Maybe it's okay. Maybe it's okay. We don't know.
Maybe they had without pineapples.
I think you did a personally. I think you did a very, very good job. Very good. And you're forgetting that pineapple belongs on pizza. There we go.
No, it doesn't.
I'm just going to pop that
does.
up every episode from now on, because it belongs there. So I guess we should
will end on the point, though, that the Italian restaurant that you and I went to in New York City many, many years ago, I did not see pineapple on the menu to put as a topping on a pizza there. And they clearly knew what they were doing.
They also did a sunny side up egg with a runny yolk on it, which you typically don't find. Look, I'm not getting that from Pizza Hut, but from this place, they were an artisan shop. It was fantastic.
Exactly, and they didn't have pineapple. End of story. You know, like if I had the sound effect for Law and Order, you would hear the gavel.
I was going to say they had pineapple somewhere. All right, so we should probably wrap things up, Josh. There we go.
We could go on for hours, my friend.
All right, so first off, I'm going to plug the content from this past week. Our Azure Synapse Analytics Patterns in a Box by Neeraj Jafari and Andreas Padilla. Fantastic stuff. So please make sure to go and check that out. It's a wonderful video, and it's on deploying your Synapse environment. And there's not just one pattern, right? So we're going to get some other videos from our friends on this, and I cannot wait to see what they're going to build for us. But if you want to know early, maybe you should just go check out the video because it has a link to the GitHub. And then you'll be able to go to the repository and find it right away. Also, last week, we dropped an MS Tech Bits. It's been very popular, how to back up a SQL MI database and restore it on SQL Server 2022. We love hearing from you, and we love hearing, we want to keep the conversation going. So make sure and make a comment down below. If there's other content you'd like to see us produce, let us know. We're always open to whatever you guys want. We can do a request. Tuesday will be our hosting show. Don't forget, come and join us on Tuesday, where we have a very, very special guest coming up. I think we should go ahead and tell them. Do you guys want to tell them who the guest is?
Yeah, I say we go for it.
Yeah,
go for it, Brad.
Absolutely. We have the amazing Vicky Harp joining us next Tuesday. I cannot wait for that. And then, of course, we're going to be at SQL Bits. Myself and Patrick LeBlanc have a session there. Stan Wynots, who we just covered in this, he has a pre-con on Tuesday. Patrick and Adam have a pre-con on Tuesday. Bob, Ward, Buck, Woody have a pre-con on Wednesday. It is a hybrid event, so don't think you have to make it over to Wales to be able to participate. You can join us online. And speaking of being able to join us, you should come join us in person at SQL Saturday Jacksonville, where I'm going to be Josh Ludeman, Neeraj Jafari, Andreas Padilla, and our good buddy Josh Ludeman, myself, Neeraj, and Dan Taylor. Oh, sorry.
I was like, and I'm not even I'm just a special friend now. Wow.
I think his browser service.
I don't think the problem was related to your computer. Yeah, I think that's where Neeraj was going. The problem wasn't your computer. The problem is in your computer.
I was going to say that's called a picnic error. Problem in chair, not in computer. Yeah. So anyway, you want to come join us for our pre-con day of DBA fundamentals, DBA 101. Myself, Dan Taylor, Neeraj Jafari. We will be there in Jacksonville, and we can't wait to have you join us. Gentlemen, is there anything else that I'm forgetting? Would not surprise me.
But at this point, I may show up in the back row just to heckle in the second half of the day. I don't know. This sounds like
I think you should do that in the first half of the day.
I'm coming too.
Okay, time to heckle. I'm in.
Yeah, and balls will be at Bits. Absolutely, I will be there. All
balls
right,
Bits, the new hashtag. Make it happen.
There we go. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.
Cue the music.
Yeah.
Grow hard about what you want to be. Step forward. Everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna